And welcome into Fantasy Baseball Camp. This is Fantasy Baseball Podcast where we get into waiver wire picks, prospects, rookies, anything that comes to fantasy baseball and helping you out on your fantasy baseball team. This is episode 27. I'm Burns. I've got with me the whole fantasy baseball camp of BNB_Lombard, Wes, and Will. What's going on, guys?
Doing good.
How's everyone's team feeling? How's everyone feeling this week with their team? Anybody down? Everybody having a great week?
No, not so good. You Darvish.
Real funny, Burns. Real funny.
I forgot about that, Wes.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, Burns and I are playing each other this week. Every single one of Burns' pitchers has decided to have the best game of their season.
I wouldn't say that.
He was beating me by...
starts. They've thrown quality starts.
They've all scored 25 or more.
22,
Kyle
24,
Hendricks
23.
Scored 25 or more.
Kyle Hendricks is back, baby. Ground ball machine with Nico and Danzy up the middle.
Yeah,
He's back, baby.
I was losing by 100 on Tuesday.
And you had 70 points.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right. So today is Thursday night, June 22nd, and we're getting ready for, what is this, guys? This is going to be week 12 next week of fantasy baseball. We're officially
week 13.
We're currently in week 12. You're right. So next week is week 13. We're about halfway through the baseball season, probably about a little more than halfway through fantasy baseball seasons.
Time out. I got to call this. Tommy Tanks just hit a walk-off in the bottom of the 11th as this is happening. College World Series.
First baseman for LSU?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I wrote a scouting report on that guy one time. Oh, this
Nice.
is insane.
So what are they advancing to, LSU?
The finals. It'll be Florida LSU.
SEC.
God, what a game.
SEC, yeah.
Wow.
That'd be fun. When's that start? We'll have to
It's not tomorrow, I don't think.
be quick.
I'll look it up. Keep going.
Keep going. Yes, sir. All right. So this is our episode 27. As I said, we're getting ready for week 13. So this is our waiver wire episode. We're going to try to recommend players that are on the that we think could produce for your team next week, or maybe even guys that aren't ready to add and just put on your bench. Will, why don't you give us our first guy that you've got ready for next week?
Yeah, so the guy I was looking at was Jordan Hicks from the Cardinals. You know, he was highly regarded there for a while. You know, he throws gas. But he never really put it together there. He kind of lost the closer role. I think he had some injuries and it ultimately went to Hellesley, I think. But with Hellesley injured, you know, Hicks.
How do you say his name?
Hellesley.
Hellesley?
Hellesley.
You got spelled wrong in the notes. That's why. That's why you're pronouncing it that way.
Hellesley.
Ryan Hellesley.
Yeah. Anyways, he's out, and Hicks has got 3 straight saves in 3 days. So he's clearly getting the nod with him out. So he's one I would be looking at, especially if you need some RP depth, which, you know, can be fairly thin position or an up and down position. So I would give him a look, you know, if you're hurting in that field, to get someone who's going to get some save nods right now.
Yeah, so the only problem with that is the Cardinals don't win a lot of ball games.
Sure. Well, yeah, they're streaky, I guess. They'll win a couple and then lose a whole lot and back and forth.
Because then if you're looking for RP and you need someone with saves, I'd go with a team that wins just a few more ball games, and that's the Cubs' new guy who's getting the saves. It's Adbert Alzolay. He's been getting the Cubs saves. The Cubs have won 9 of their last 11. Who knows if that will keep going? Just like the Cardinals, it's a roller coaster. The Cubs get hot, then they decide to lose to easy teams. But yeah, there's 2 RPs right there that have been getting saves that are widely available, and guys who are getting strikeouts and shutting teams down. What do you think, Wes? Tommy, which one would you rather have, Hellesley or Alzolay?
I mean, Hicks.
Yes. Hicks or Alzolay?
That's tough. I think I would rather have Hicks for the track record, but I'll be honest, that's kind of a tough call because Cardinals don't win many games.
I think I'm going to go with Hicks with little confidence in either pick. I don't think the Cardinals are this bad. I don't know what's going on with them. They got a lot of talented players. I believe they have what it takes to turn it around. They just have not. So
they've been a train wreck all year.
I'd rather not start either of them, to be honest. But if I had to roster one, they're on my bench. I don't typically roster a bench RP, but if you're going to, I'd say Hicks.
I had a Cardinals fan come up to me and say that the Cardinals were planning their team to be ground ball machines and play it to the shift so well, and then they banned the shift, and oh no. But I don't know how that could affect you this hard.
Interesting theory.
Right. I guess they're just looking for anything while they're trash. All right, so that was Will with Jordan Hicks. Wesley, how about you, Sir Wesley? What you got for our listeners?
Yeah, real quick on the College World Series, Saturday, June 24th at 6 p.m., Game 1. Sunday, June 25th, 2 p.m., Game 2. And Game 3 on Monday, June 26th at 6 p.m.
And a weekend series. Let's go.
Yeah, I love that, man. I'll be honest, I was completely unprepared for this episode, but one guy I have been paying attention to since he got called back was Alek Thomas. So he got called back, I think, 7 days ago. Since then, he's
I didn't realize he was sent down.
I think he started the year in AAA.
Okay.
Alek Thomas, like he played 3 weeks, 5 weeks.
I mean, he made his debut last year, yeah.
Yeah,
and,
he had
it
400 at bats last year.
Anything special?
Yeah, wasn't anything special. I would say he played 6 weeks this year before being sent down. Spent about a month and a half in AAA. He hit 348 in AAA. And I think you kind of know what you're getting with Alek Thomas. Is not going to be much power. It's not, he's a fast guy, but he doesn't steal bases. But he is going to hit. He's been hitting leadoff, if not, 2 for the Diamondbacks. Since coming back, he's hit 462 with a home run and 3 RBIs. And he scored 17 points. And, with the Diamondbacks offense, as good as it is this year, he's going to score a lot of runs at the top of their order, right? So that's what I'm betting on for Alek Thomas. I'm going to say he's a guy that I would pick up, not expecting to maintain this level of production. So just make sure you're on a daily basis checking and seeing how he's doing. If he starts falling off, I might drop him. But if you need help in the outfield, Alek Thomas is a guy I would pick up.
Alek Thomas has the scouting report. Maybe this is his time where he's going to adjust. His scouting grades were a 60 hit tool, a 50 power tool, and a 60 run tool.
When you look at those grades, is that MLB or is that Fangraphs?
That's MLB.
Yeah, Fangraphs has him at a 55 hit, a 55 power, and a 60 speed. Like, for a guy like that, I mean, that's a 15-20 homer guy with a 15-20 homer steal potential.
Right.
When you compare him to other guys with that grade. So, I don't know. You watch the guy play. He has that potential. I don't know why he doesn't steal more bases, but, he does hit at the top of the Diamondbacks order. So,
in the minors, he was hitting an MVP style stat line of 345, 348, 409, 518 in AAA. So the guy has the tools. Can he just all put it together at the major league level? And maybe if the Diamondbacks aren't relying so much just on him, because Corbin Carroll's going.
I'm actually glad you brought Corbin Carroll up. Please do not pick up Alek Thomas with the expectations that he's going to do what Corbin Carroll is doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Corbin Carroll is playing at his future, I think, what they expected him to do like a couple of years from now. And he's just producing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Diamondbacks are fun to watch, especially because they're keeping the Dodgers out of first place. And who doesn't love that? I mean, no one wants to see the Dodgers in first place again. All right, great things going on here. Tommy, why don't you give us your pick here for next week?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Oakland Athletics starting pitcher Paul Skeens out of LSU.
Oh, poor guy.
I don't know if he's going to go
Do
first
they have the first
overall.
pick?
Yeah, well, right now
Yeah, they do.
they're heavily favored for last place. So, well, with
If
the
they
lottery
don't
system,
pick
there's no
him first
guarantee.
overall,
No, he's getting picked this year, bro.
yeah,
There's no system, no guarantee with the lottery system who's going to get first pick. But I
No,
would
this
assume,
year. Paul Skeens is getting drafted this year.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
but
in
there's
a
no
month.
guarantee. Oh, but I forgot who's last year's record. Anyways, not important. That was a joke. Paul Skeens is fantastic. Oakland's horrible.
Let's see who has the first pick. It's the Pittsburgh Pirates.
They always have.
They know
Pirates
how to
that can pick.
they know how to
Yeah,
develop pitching.
I thought
And
we
then
already
right
talked
behind
about
him
that.
is
The Pirates got the first overall pick out of the.
with
Anyways, Paul Skeens will not be available this year, but he will be next year. And I'll be picking him up. I'm going to go with a pitcher, actually Braxton Garrett. I think we talked about him a couple weeks ago. And since then, he's been nothing but fantastic. So he did get blown up for 11 earned runs versus Atlanta on May 3rd. But since then, he's carried a 2.70 ERA, a 0.95 whip, an 11.4 K per nine, 1.9 walk per nine, and an even better expected FIP of 2.38. That is impressive. An xFIP that low is really hard to do. So if you go to StatCast page, it's really not that impressive. It's kind of the opposite of what I look for when I look for a pitcher. He's got fantastic strikeout and walk numbers, but other than that, he gets hit hard, expected slug, expected batting average. They're all below 50 percentile, if not 30 percentile. So I'm not really sure, other than he's just missing bats, that he's not walking guys what he's doing. Maybe he's got a decent defense behind him. But I'm going to ride this while it's hot. He's helped me out in a win here the last couple weeks. And he did it again tonight. He was fantastic. He went 7 innings, 13 strikeouts, I think. They're probably his best performance yet this season. Kind of like Bryce Elder. I don't know what makes him good, but other than the strikeouts and walks, but he's doing it.
Yeah, I think the Miami doesn't have a great offense behind him to score runs, but I think he's got a great defense behind him. Miami has scored the third lowest runs scored in the whole NL. But runs against, they're doing very well as well. So not a great run differential that they have of negative 16, but they're streaking. They've won 6 of the last 10. They're suddenly have 43 wins in second place. So that's what you always like to see. You never want to grab a starting pitcher on a bad team, and Braxton Garrett suddenly is on a good team.
Yeah, so it's somebody I'm going to ride until the wheels fall off. I've got no other better starting options.
Braxton Garrett, do you know when he was a top 5, top 10 overall draft pick, was he not in 2000?
He was a first rounder.
In 2016, he was the number 7 pick overall by the Miami Marlins out of Florence, Alabama.
Yeah, so he's got the pedigree, he's got the scouting that someone believed for him to be. And usually when you go that high, it's they do something right. They develop unless you just develop poorly, like some teams do with starting pitching. Braxton Garrett, starting pitcher. Do you know what percentage he's owned in leagues right now, Tom? Is he
71? I think last I looked.
Really?
So he's still rostered in more leagues.
That low?
Yeah, 71.
Dude, if he's available in your league, pick him up. Good Lord.
Yeah.
He needs to be 90 or more.
Especially
Yeah,
if pitchers dropping like flies, man. You know, you got to be hurting. Somebody's got to be hurting for pitching.
Somebody who just lost Shane McClanahan.
Easy. Too soon.
All right, so I think, let's see, Wes, you went with a catcher.
I went with Alec Thomas.
I'm sorry. And then relief pitcher, starting pitcher. So I'll give you guys, I've got on my list 2 different guys, 2 first basemen actually. The first one is Joey Votto. Joey Votto is back after rotator cuff surgery? Shoulder surgery?
Mm.
Yeah.
So if you look at, Joey Votto's year last year, the guy's only 22% owned. Yes, he is 39 years old. But in 2022, he had a little down year. He didn't play but 91 games. Who knows how long that shoulder was bothering him. But just a year prior, the dude hit 36 home runs with a 5.62 slugging. Without a juice ball, that's at least a league average player at 443 points, 36 home runs. If the guy comes and is now inserted into a Reds lineup. That poor Joey Votto, he's been on the Reds for his whole career. The Reds have not been this good since July of 2012. Basically,
that was literally going to be the question I asked. Was like, I don't remember the last time the Reds were good. I mean, it's been 8-10 years, right? And that's when Joey Votto was in his prime and he had protection with him around the lineup. I mean, he might actually do some damage in this lineup, you know?
Right.
Still in a hitter's ballpark too.
Yeah.
Right. And the Reds were good in 10, 11, 12, and then things fell off. I think it's probably ownership. But yeah, Joey Votto finally has a team around him. He's got quite the offense around him. Would you say, Tommy?
There's a couple big name guys that are coming up with the Reds as an honorary Reds fan.
An honorary Reds fan. Yeah, so Joey Votto, if you need a first baseman, I would easily take a flyer on Joey Votto. He's only 22% owned. Can't be much worse than some of the other first basemen available. I'm currently riding with Luke Raley of the Rays. If the Rays would play him every day, he would probably take off, but they platoon him. So
like
that's hard to do is
on the roster.
Like everyone on their freaking roster. Josh Lowe could put up an MVP season, but he plays 3 out of 4 days.
Isaac Paredes. I mean, the only person that plays every day is Wander Franco, except he got benched for 2 games.
And Diaz, and that's about it.
Rosarena. Randy.
Yeah, true, and Randy.
So unless you're an absolute superstar, then they're not going to play you every day. They're going to platoon you, and it's hard to argue when they're in first place. But
true,
you know, that's the easiest argument. I think, Will, you said that the other day to me in some kind of discussion. It's hard to. You don't have to have an argument about yourself when you're in first place.
Yeah,
fair point.
Yeah, we were talking about Dan. We're talking about Dan's team. It's like, well, he's in first place and killing it, so can't argue with him. What he's doing is working.
Somehow. All right, so that was Joey Votto, 22% owned as a first baseman. Let's go with back all the way back to Will for our next waiver wire pick. What you got, Will?
Yeah, so with this one I try to think a little outside the box and throw in a catcher. I know Tommy will bring up a guy later, but that's such a thin position. If you don't have like Adley, Jonah Heim, Will Smith, Sean Murphy, if you're in a 10 to 12 team league and you don't have one of those 5 guys, it's really falls off after them. So I was looking at some numbers, and Bo Naylor was one that stood out. He just recently got the call up, and he was a 20 homer, 20 steal guy last year as a catcher. So he could come up and give a decent spark, because at this point in the season, it's kind of like you're grasping straws on the waiver wire, waiting for call ups. Those same guys that have been, starters since the beginning of the year on the waiver wire are still there, not producing. So kind of waiting for call ups, and he just got the call with 20 homer, 20 steal potential in the minors. It could help you if you're not one of those guys that has top 5 catcher.
Yeah, because William Contreras, who was expected to be be a good guy, is absolutely disappointing fantasy owners right now.
Yeah, but he's shown some signs of breaking out of it the last few days, but overall, not the guy that you likely invested in during the draft.
For what he did in Atlanta as a catcher / DH / outfielder.
Yeah, and Milwaukee's a good hitting environment too, right? Just not having a good year, and that's about the bottom line.
Yeah, Braves looking like they made the right decision to move on from him and make the move to what's the guy's name?
Tommy ain't listen. Murphy.
Sean
Murphy.
All right.
Yeah, Bo Naylor's got 50 grade power. That's enough to put as a catcher to put 10 to 15 home runs over for you. If he plays every day, he's got. They say he has plus raw power. So that's enough to accidentally put one over the fence for you.
Yeah, and with there being such a drop-off at catcher after you get past like the 5th or 6th guy, it really drops. So if you're one of those, in the league that's below that, just maybe worth a look. See how he does if he comes up and continue that power and, steal some bags too.
Yeah, that's a game you play. Either you spend capital, a lot of draft capital on a catcher, that you know is going to be a stud, or you just play this game to pick up the whatever catcher you can find week to week. What's up, Wes?
I just read on the notes. We got to find Will for typing in catcher for the Indians.
Oh, I saw that.
The Guardians, sorry. Don't cancel.
Just read that.
Don't cancel me, please. I meant the Guardians. Deep down.
Boo. Where's my media board for booing?
White out. Put some white out.
They'll always be the Indians in my heart.
Did you say Guardians?
No, I think I said Indians. Honestly,
no.
I did that a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, that'll always be the Cleveland Indians to me.
I think I corrected myself at least, but I did say it a couple months ago.
Quack.
Side note: have you guys seen the photo of the Naylor brothers?
I saw Josh going crazy when Bo got his first hit the other night.
Yeah, and the third one, Miles, is about to be drafted, I believe.
Who's Josh play for?
Cleveland.
The Guardians.
Oh, they're on
bro.
the same team?
Yeah, they're the same team, dude.
Oh,
pretty cool.
wow.
His brother went nuts. His first MLB hit.
Yeah, I got the video here. I'll send it to you.
That's awesome. That's like the pitchers, the Roger pitchers, pitching on the same team as the
Taylor and
Giants now
Tyler.
this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Could you imagine if Miles gets drafted by Cleveland? That would be pretty awesome.
They have a third brother.
Yeah, Miles, the youngest, is about to be drafted.
Who's he play for?
I'm not sure where he plays currently.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it was on LSU or something. 'Cause I know LSU has a top pitcher coming and a top hitter. All right, Wes, why don't you give us another pick for next week?
Yeah, so to Will's point, maybe we just need to suggest. We all had the same thought, so we're going to talk about another catcher. It is the thinnest position in fantasy right now. So I'm going to talk about Patrick Bailey. And originally, when I typed this in, I said, Patrick Bailey, who? And look, he's currently owned in 18% of CBS leagues, and he's now the starting catcher for the Giants. He doesn't really have who
are surging. 10 wins.
10 wins. I mean, the Giants are hot right now. So Patrick Bailey's been up for looks like a little over a month. I called him up, called Matos up. Yastrzemski's having a great week. He's on fire right now. So Patrick Bailey has started almost every game since he's been called up. And, since then it's been it's been over 21 days. He is the number 4 scoring catcher in fantasy. He's hitting 302, slugging 515, 3 home runs and 20 RBIs. And he's 18% owned. That's a freebie, right? So I'm going to, if you need somebody at catcher, take a chance on him. He didn't really have much of a track record in the minors, but it wasn't a top prospect. But, hey, look, their top prospect, Joey Bart, is now in AAA, and Patrick Bailey beat him out. So,
yeah, Joey Bart might have missed his chance at being the starting catcher for the Giants. Highly regarded, and now Patrick Bailey, some other catcher, is making the most of his opportunity. Last 21 days, he's the number 4 scoring catcher. Somebody pick him up and give him a shot.
Yeah, his point total by week was he got called up week 7 and scored 7.5. Then he went 12, 12, 11, 20, and currently so far this week he's only got 3. But I think the Giants have only played 3 games.
Yeah, even next week the Giants do have not the best hitting schedule, but not the worst. And they face Zach Davies, Merrill Kelly, Ryan Nelson of the Diamondbacks. And then they head to Canada to face Gosman, Bassett, and Berrios.
Yeah.
So first series, the Diamondbacks aren't throwing their best guys, and that's where they could desperately use help.
If you missed out on Gary Sanchez, go pick up Patrick Bailey.
Yes, I would take Bailey over Gary Sanchez's, that little home run streak that he had. I think that's
Over now.
It's over. That's all that's going to happen to Gary Sanchez, and it's going to be done. I would be done with that. I wouldn't even consider. I would just watch from the side Gary Sanchez going off. All right, Tommy. Since Wes and Will mentioned the catcher, who would you rather have? Bailey, right? Who are you picking up? Bailey or Naylor?
I think I like Naylor more, just a little more pedigree, higher prospect,
Naylor,
got some speed and power. But if you don't like either of those two options, I got a third catcher option for you. We all thought of like this week. Somebody who's probably going to get a lot of playing time if the other guys are questionable is Henry Davis. He was the number 1 overall pick in 2021 by the Pirates. He's a catcher eligible. Obviously, he was drafted as a catcher. But right now, he's going to be playing mostly outfield. I'm not sure if he's going to split time as catcher. But at least for this year, so it depends if you're redraft or a dynasty league, he's got catcher eligibility in the outfield position. If he plays every day, that's super valuable, especially like in a points league.
I saw that he should play. He should play it mostly every day, and he's pushing Connor Joe and somebody else out.
So he's just got a volume that nobody else is going to have, or very few other catchers have. I'm at the position for a points league, and he doesn't have much going on right now. He's only played in 3 games, so he just got called up. And don't look at the stat line because it's not very good. But
it's like 3 lines. It's like 3 games.
Yeah. You don't take anything from that. But by Fangraphs, he was rated 70 power raw and 60 power game as his value, future value. No speed, not a good fielder. Hits are is fine. He's below average hitter, but he's got so much power. Home runs and catcher positions pretty valuable.
He stole 9 bases this year between AA and AAA for a catcher.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good too. So, I mean, everywhere he went, he hit pretty well. Let's say I don't have his average pulled together, but
yeah, AA he was 284, 10 home runs, 27 RBIs. AAA he only had 45 plate appearances at AAA before being called up, but he was 286 there, a home run, 3 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases. So
yeah, he was somewhere between 150 and 200 WRC plus everywhere he went.
Yeah.
So he was a fantastic hitter, and I would, like I said, I wouldn't trust or take much in the first 3 games. Nobody does well their first 3 games. But if you need a catcher and you need points league, you need some volume, I'd take a flyer on Henry Davis, probably over those 2, just from a volume standpoint.
The fact that he's going to play outfield, I think he's going to get himself in the lineup every day. He's got, like you said, he's got a great grades on his hit and power. The guy's, I think, a hitter first, catcher, easily hitter first, catcher second. And the Pirates are really hoping to hold on to their great start. You know, it's not looking good. But yeah, Henry Davis hitting 7th right now. But if he starts to put it together, he's easily going to hit in the top of their order. So I think the coolest part of his scouting report is his 70 grade arm currently. That's not future. That's current. It's a cannon.
Trivia question for you. What school was he drafted out of, number 1 overall?
I mean, I can cheat. I have it up right here.
No. Okay, you don't get the answer. That is correct. Louisville. Good job.
I was gonna say Rice. Nice.
Sounds like Dalton Varsho vibes. You know, catcher outfield eligibility, trying to get his bat in the lineup. So
yeah, that's literally who I was gonna compare him to.
So if he gets 10 or 20 games behind the plate this year and you've got him in a dynasty league, that's even more valuable because he'll keep the eligibility. But if nothing else, he has it right now for this year.
Yeah, fantastic. Great name, Tommy. And funny that you guys all picked catchers with that. How are you ranking those 1, 2, 3? Is it Davis, Bailey, Naylor, or is it Davis? Sounds like he's number 1 in your book, Tommy. And you already mentioned you'd take Naylor over Bailey.
Yeah, Davis, Naylor, Bailey is my list.
I agree to that.
Wes, can you put Bailey? Are you putting Bailey in front of either one of those guys?
Over the next 2 weeks, I would say Bailey. Just because he at least has proven over the last 3 weeks that he can hit, and he's done it well. Anything longer than a 2-week time frame, I would agree with Tommy and Will as the Bailey third, Naylor second, and Henry Davis first.
I I picked up Henry when he got the call. I see his hit tool. I would right now. You've got Patrick Bailey showing he's already can do it, but Henry has the better potential. I haven't seen. Do you have anybody have Bailey's scouting grades up on his hit tool at all?
Yeah.
Wes, do you have that up?
Yeah, Fangraphs. So Fangraphs has him at a 60 hit, 40 game power, 50 raw power, 30 speed. So he's not that far off from Henry Davis. I mean, he's a 60 hit, and they rated Davis as a 45 hit with a 60 raw power or 70 raw power, 60 game power. So, I would say Fangraphs is a little more critical on their hit tool. So if they're rating Patrick Bailey as 60 hit, now granted, I will say that that's a 60 future. They had him at a 40 current hit. So, maybe they see some potential with what he can do with the bat. I think he does have good bat to ball skills. So I do believe 60 is probably a good grade for him. I see some raw power in there. 40 is probably right. Long term, man, I just think that Henry Davis, I'll take the power from him because, to be quite honest, he just didn't strike out that much in the minor leagues. I mean, he was, 18, 22% there. So if he's a 60 power, 70 power, and he's striking out 20%, I feel like the hit tool is going to grow a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, so I think that sounded like it was a consensus. Right now, I think what Wes was trying to say is if you need someone for this next week, he might go with the Giants catcher, Bailey, first. But if you're looking a little bit, if Henry Davis is still available, he has the higher potential. So it's Davis, Naylor, Bailey in order of priority probably there. Okay, I think I've got the last pick here for us tonight, and it's not a catcher. We'll finish with catcher. I think that's enough catching. I don't think everybody needs that much catching. But I've got another first baseman. If Joey Votto being owned at 22% is not, and he's already been picked up, I think another guy, he's only 11% owned. It's Ryan O'Hearn of the Baltimore Orioles. He was a Royals product that came up through the Royals system. Never really took off as the Royals never really do. But Ryan O'Hearn right now, the first baseman Ryan Mountcastle is out with an injury, and Ryan O'Hearn has been pretty good while filling in at first base and DH. In the last 3 weeks, he scored 21.5, 17, and so far he's only got 5.5. But it's Thursday, and we'll see how his weekend goes. But the guy can hit. The guy has, in only 31 games, has 6 home runs, 7 doubles, and is hitting 341, 378, 615 slugging. So if the guy just stays in the lineup every day, that he's going to produce in that Baltimore Oriole lineup. What do you think, Wes?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with that. He's got to stay healthy though. But I mean, again, you could say that for pretty much any player. Hey, if Ronald Acuna stays healthy, he'll be the best player in fantasy.
Right. Hey, Jazz Chisholm, if he can just stay healthy, he deserves to be on the cover of MLB The Show 23.
Yeah, right.
What was it last week for our rest of season projections? I said Shane McClanahan's going to be the best pitcher for the rest of the season, so long as he's healthy and the Rays don't mess him up. Well, what happened a week later?
Still too soon.
It is too soon. We don't know what happened.
Yeah, so are you saying that you sabotaged Coach Haver's rest of season?
On purpose.
It's been sabotage, brother. It's been sabotage.
It started 11 years ago.
Yeah, it started when I started fantasy. That's fantasy baseball, it is.
So, all right. Well, that's been any last calls, guys, before we call it episode 27.
Yeah, do you know why Will's parents had a second kid? Because they coming out the womb, they're like, this guy's going to suck at fantasy baseball. We got to have one more. We're going to name him Grant. Maybe he'll be good.
Yeah, maybe he can take over my team. Give me some advice.
Yeah, well, he's taking your steps in slow pitch softball, that's for sure.
That's true.
Long retired there.
Yeah.
think we all are.
All right, this is yeah, for sure. This has been episode 27, getting you ready for week 13 of Waiver Wire. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you haven't already, follow us on all of our social media, Instagram and Twitter. Most of our handles are here, BNSB_, and then our name. If you search for Fantasy Baseball Camp, you'll find us. I'm Michael. There's Tommy, Wes, and Will. We'll catch you guys on the next one.